Так, добрий день, шановні колеги. Починаємо працювати. Сьогодні 3 березня 2023 року, 14:00 за київським часом. Так, дозвольте розпочати засідання. Відповідно до рішення вченої ради Сумського аграрного університету наказом ректора номер 493К від 16.12.2022 року в Сумському національному аграрному університеті утворено спеціалізовану вчену раду для прийняття до розгляду та проведення разового захисту дисертації Ван Хуньє на тему управління сталим розвитком регіональних територіальних громад в Китайській Народній Республіці. In English Management of Sustainable Development of Regional Territorial Communities in People Public of China на здобуття ступені доктора філософії у галузі знань 07, управління та адміністрування за спеціальністю 073 менеджмент. Щодо складу ради, головуючи на засіданні Стенець Наталія Валерівна, доктор економічних наук, професор кафедри менеджменту імені професора Любові Івановни Михайлової Сумського національного аграрного університету. Рецензенти: Данько Юрій Іванович, доктор економічних наук, професор, проректор з наукової та міжнародної діяльності Сумський національний аграрний університет. Сахань Інна Віталіївна, доктор економічних наук, професор кафедри менеджменту імені Любові Івановни Михайлової Сумського національного аграрного університету. І опоненти: офіційний Монастирський Григорій Леонардович, доктор економічних наук, професор кафедри менеджменту, публічного управління та персоналу, Західноукраїнський національний університет. Литвинчук Ірина Леонідівна, доктор економічних наук, професор, керівник навчально-наукового центру інтелектуальної власності, інноватики та управління проєктами, Поліський національний університет. Посади членів спеціалізованої вченої ради вказані на дату захисту дисертаційної роботи. Прошу зареєструватися, шановні рецензенти та опоненти. Отже, на підставі реєстраційної картки присутні 5 членів спеціалізованої вченої ради із 5 затверджених наказом ректора номер 493К від 16.12.2022 року. Кворум необхідний для засідання є, і ми маємо всі офіційні підстави для того, щоб розпочати засідання. Засідання спеціалізованої вченої ради оголошую відкритим. Тобто сьогодні на порядку денному захист дисертації на здобуття ступеня доктора філософії, аспірантки кафедри економіки та підприємництва імені професора Брюховецького Сумського національного аграрного університету Ван Хуньє на тему управління сталим розвитком регіональних територіальних громад в Китайській Народній Республіці, англійська версія Management of Sustainable Development of Regional Territorial Communities in People Republic of China за спеціальністю 073 менеджмент. Роботу виконано в Сумському національному аграрному університеті, науковий керівник, кандидат економічних наук, доцент кафедри економіки та підприємництва імені професора Брюховецького, Каблянська Інна Ігорівна. До спеціалізованої вченої ради надійшли такі документи: заява щодо проведення атестації здобувача, копія першої сторінки паспорта громадянина Китайської Народної Республіки, копія диплома магістра, витяг з наказу про зарахування до аспірантури, засвідчений у встановленому порядку, академічна довідка про виконання відповідної освітньо-наукової програми, висновок наукового керівника, кандидата економічних наук, доцента Каблянської Інни Ігорівни, висновок про наукову новизну, теоретичне та практичне значення результатів дисертації, дисертація в друкованому та електронних виглядах, відбитки копій наукових публікацій, зарахованих за темою дисертації, засвідчених у встановленому порядку. Усі документи відповідають встановленим вимогам. Дисертація до захисту подається вперше. Хто за запропонований порядок денний, прошу голосувати. Хто за? Проти? І утримався? Немає. Пропозиція приймається. Дозвольте зазначити біографічні дані аспірантки. Тобто Ван Хуньє 1991 року народження, громадянка Китайської Народної Республіки, освіта вища, закінчила у 2017 році Хан'янський педагогічний університет Китайської Народної Республіки за спеціальністю образотворче мистецтво, художньо-екологічний дизайн. У 2018 році вступила до аспірантури Сумського національного аграрного університету Міністерства освіти і науки України, місто Суми, Україна, за спеціальністю 073 менеджмент. За час навчання перебувала в академічній відпустці в зв'язку з народженням дитини з 1.12.19 по 1.12.2020 року. Відповідно, наразі навчається на 4-му курсі аспірантури в СНАУ. Дисертацію виконано в Сумському університеті Міністерства освіти і науки міста Суми. Тема дисертації затверджена на засіданні вченої ради Сумського національного аграрного університету, протокол номер 7 від 26 грудня 2018 року, зі змінами від 26 вересня 2022 року, протокол номер 3. Ван Хуньє повністю виконала індивідуальний навчальний план відповідно до освітньо-наукової програми аспірантури обсягом 57 кредитів, що повністю відповідає порядку підготовки здобувачів вищої освіти ступеня доктора філософії в закладах вищої освіти, наукових установах. 24 жовтня 2022 року відбувся публічна презентація дисертаційного дослідження на кафедрі економіки та підприємництва імені професора Брюховецького за спеціальністю 073 менеджмент та отримані наукові результати дисертаційної роботи висвітлена у 12 наукових працях, з них 3 наукові праці оприлюднено у фахових наукових виданнях, 2 наукові праці в наукових виданнях, включених до наукометричних баз Scopus та Web of Science, 7 наукових праць опубліковані в інших виданнях. Наукові публікації відповідають вимогам пункту 8 та від порядку присудження ступеня доктора філософії та скасування рішення разової спеціалізованої вченої ради закладу вищої освіти. Постанови про присудження ступеня доктора філософії. Тобто така постанова Кабінету міністрів України від 12 січня 2022 року номер 74. Дисертація відповідає вимогам наказу МОН України номер 40 від 12.01.2017 року про затвердження вимог щодо оформлення дисертації та порядку присудження ступеня доктора філософії та скасування рішення разової спеціалізованої вченої ради закладу вищої освіти наукової установи про присудження ступеня доктора філософії. Постанова Кабінету міністрів України від 12 січня 2022 року номер 44. Чи є питання у членів спеціалізованої вченої ради? Немає. Із здобувачем погоджено, що захист дисертації буде проводитись англійською мовою. To present the main result of research, the word is given to graduate student Wang Hongye.
Okay. I will share my screen. Okay. Hello, professors. Everything is okay now? Hello?
Yes.
Everything is okay? Could you hear me?
Yes, continue, please continue. Everything's okay.
Okay. Now I will start my report. Good afternoon, dear professors. It's a great honor to have the opportunity to share my research topic today. My dissertation topic is management of sustainable development of regional territorial communities in People's Republic of China. My name is Wang Hongyue. My supervisor is Professor Ina Kaplanska. This research aims to develop the theoretical and methodological principles and formulate practical recommendations to support the effective management of the sustainable development of territory communities of the regions. The research objects the organizational and economic interrelations existing while planning, making, and implement regional territory communities sustainable development decisions. The research subject a set of theoretical and methodological foundations describing the organizational and economic interrelations existing while managing territory communities sustainable development. To achieve the above goals, the following main tasks were set and solved, and established the research framework on the basis of the research tasks. The main innovation of this research mainly include 2 parts. In the improved parts, there are 3 main points. Conceptual understanding of the main factors of the sustainable development of territories. a mathematical approach to the interpretation of the concept of a knowledge-oriented strategy for sustainable development of cities. An index system for assessing the efficiency of sustainable development of urban areas as a component of the regional complex. In the section to be further developed, there are 4 main points. A mathematical approach to define the smart cities functioning system. A mathematical approach to the formation of scientifically based and intelligent system of evaluation and monitoring of urban sustainability. A mathematical approach to determine the main priorities of strategic management of the sustainable development of regional communities. Put forward a scientific and reasonable suggestion for sustainable development of regional territory communities strategies. Now let's look at the concept of sustainable development of regional territory communities. Through the study of approach for the development of urban areas, which should contribute their sustainability, it was established that the modern development of urban areas depends significantly on knowledge and information. In particular, the concept of the knowledge city and the smart city, which have emerged recently, indicate that science, knowledge, technology, and innovation are the way to sustainable development through technology solution. On this base, a 5-dimensional vision of the smart cities functioning system was developed. It consists of understanding information as an essential component that integrated other elements of urban development, politics, economic, society, and technology. Since the 3 aspects model of sustainable development is classical, considering the role of state and the coordination aspect of the management of the functioning of territories of different levels, is proposed by placing science and technology as a particular component of sustainable development. This transform of the conceptual understanding of the main factors of sustainable territory development, sustainable economic growth, sustainable society, sustainable environment, sustainable technology, and science as a source of sustainable innovation that improved the functioning of all other spheres. So the city sustainable development level is determined by the level of these elements performance. This research emphasizes that one of the reasons that limit the ability of current urban management regimes in China to solve urbanization problems is the dominance of traditional approach to managing and the limitation of the planning economic system. Therefore, it is essential to carry out reforms based on sustainable development and good governance. This research proposes an improved interpretation of the knowledge-oriented strategy of sustainable urban development. Knowledge-based strategy and preventive management of territory development means the need to create and use in practice a holistic system of index of an evaluation model. Let's move on evaluation framework to guiding regional territory communities sustainable path. Firstly, it summarizes the present situation of urban sustainable development in China and the problems existing in the index system. Based on the system theory framework, and organic combination of quantitative and qualitative method. This study constructs the evaluation index system of sustainable urban development, following the principles of index selection, scientificity, completeness, sensitivity, reliability, dynamics, and coordination. Coming with the theoretical framework of the four-dimensional interactive structure of sustainable urban development drivers, the index system with 3 levels and 4 subsystems is established. It includes 20 measurable indicators in 3 groups and 4 subsystems. Comprehensive analysis of the advantage and disadvantage of China and foreign indicators system. This entropic weight topsets the comprehensive evaluation model was proposed to evaluate urban sustainability performance. This approach makes it possible to objectively assess the level of sustainable development of cities and the critical factors through a quantitative assessment of the significant and fluctuations of each parameter's influence. A scale is proposed, which aligns based on the measurement results to include the territory for average good and high quality sustainable performance. The next point is managing sustainable of China region empirical analysis and strategies elaboration. An assessment of the factors influence in the general indicator of sustainable development for the entire general sample, 31 provinces in the territory under the control of central government of the People's Republic of China. Show that the component science and technology has the most significant impact of 55.4%, the influence of economic growth. Significant. Therefore, science and technology is the driving focus of the sustainable development of territory in China. Through the in-depth analysis of the secondary indicators of the 4 dimensions, the driving factors of the sustainable regional territory communities in China has been clarified: talents, science, and technology.
What happened? Sorry, the interrupt. What happened? Continue, please. One here. One
Technical problems.
Continue. Technical problems. Okay, we're waiting. One Hunia, don't worry. It's technical problems, I think.
Okay.
Continue, please. Switch on presentation again.
Okay, sorry. Okay, I will continue.
Don't worry, yeah, please continue.
Okay. According to empirical results, the contribution of the 4 dimensions is in promoting sustainable urban development is summarized, and the strategies of urban development in 4 aspects of science and technology, environmental, economic, and social up forward. Using the top size model, the sustainability promise of each of the study, 31 provinces were assessed, and their ranking was carried out. The city of Beijing, Guangdong, Jiangsu, Shanghai, Zhejiang have the best sustainability promise. The territory distribution pattern of the sustainability promise of the provinces groups into 4 regions: coastal, eastern, central, western, and the urbanized agglomeration of Beijing, Tianjin, Hebei is determined. In general, the level of development of provinces and territory is uneven, and the overall grade is relatively low. According to the results, the sustainable development of various regions of China is characterized by a weakening trend from the eastern coast areas to the western inland parts. Considering this, the feature of coastal east, Beijing, Tianjin, Hebei agglomeration, central and western economic structure, research availability, so-called demographic situation, and the development of science and technology were characterized in detail. There were investigate reasons that restrict sustainable development and formulate a strategic proposal for strengthening the potential of sustainable development for each region's territory communities. The obtained results testify to the practical significance and feasibility of using the positions developed during this research in managing the regional territory communities' sustainable development in China. The main scientific results of the research were published in 12 scientific papers, including 3 articles in specialized scientific publication of Ukraine, and 2 articles in scientific publication included in Scopes and Web of Science. I participated in 7 conferences. There are conference papers. Finally, this research was completed under the careful guidance and sharp helps of my dear professors in Casablanca. Here, I would like to express my highest respect and heartfelt thanks to my dear professor. Thank you for your attention. That's all. Thank you.
Just a minute. Thank you very much. The report is complete. Please ask question. Professor Danko.
Okay.
Okay.
Dear Van Honeer, I have one question for you.
Okay.
Your report is very good, and the topic of your dissertation is really interesting and actual and relevant and timely. And I have questions. How do you do your data collection? Can you explain us about formulation of your data collection?
Okay, thank you, Professor, for your question. There are 2 kinds of data in this study. One is the direct access, mainly from the China Statistical Yearbook, which comes from 2016 and 2019. For example, China Urban Statistical Yearbook, Statistical Yearbook of China High Technology Industrial, and China Environmental Statistics Yearbook, and China Energy Statistics Yearbook. The other is indirect through calculators such as in economic indicators. For example, water consumption potency yuan of gross domestic product, power consumption 46 yuan of gross domestic product. That's all my answer. Thank you.
Thank you. And I have one more question.
Okay.
If you know, in Ukraine, your thesis, your dissertation work must consist practical thing. What are the practical implications of your findings? Can you explain us?
Okay. Thank you for your question, Professor. The scientific and practical implication of the research may lay in the development of complex of scientifically based observations and conclusion regarding the solution of the scientific tasks, the formation of theoretical and methodological basis for ensuring the support of the process of effective management of the sustainable development of regional territory communities in China. The regional sustainable development laws and strategies suggestion proposed in this study can make a comprehensive, coordinate and sustainable development come true and provide an accurate direction for practicing the scientific idea of sustainable development. The entropy-wide top-size evaluation model constructor offered a yardstick for measuring the level of the environmental, economic, social, and technology sustainability performance of 31 provinces and cities in China, which promotes the relevant department.
Okay, I understand. Thank you. Enough.
Okay. Okay, that's my answer. Thank you.
Next question from Professor Sakhanina.
Thank dear head, thank dear colleagues, and for you, Wang Hunye, I have two questions, if it's possible.
Okay.
The first question: what are the main driving factors of sustainable development in China?
Okay, thank you for your question, Professor. Assessment of the factors influence in general indicator of sustainable development for the entire general sample shows that the component science and technology has the most significant impact. The influence of economic growth, social well-being, and the environmental component is insignificant. Therefore, science and technology is the driving force of the sustainable development of territory in China. The analysis of the secondary indicator shows that the most significant aspects of sustainable development are those belonging to the science and technology group. For example, technology market and the research and development involvement of personal of industrial enterprise. The least important indicators are mainly distribution among value indicators in economic component, social group, and environmental component. The total impact of these indicators together is only about 5%. The abundant results reviewed the fundamental factors of promoting the sustainable development of cities in China, the development of talents, science and technology, capital, and policies. That's all my answers.
Okay.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you. Thank you. And if it's possible, the second question to you. How do you identify the regional levels on sustainability in China?
Okay. Thank you for the question, Professor. About this question, to assess the level of sustainability of regions, a scale is offered, which allows based on the measurement results to conclude about the theory weak and average good and high quality levels of sustainable development. The formal judgment scale was less of the basis of an improved mathematical approach to determine the main priorities of strategic management of sustainable development of the regions. This approach is based on a special value of parameters and assessment of the level of sustainable development of territory entails. It contributes to the formalization of the decision-making process, which reduces the influence of the human factor and subjectivity when decision-making. That's my answer. Thank you.
You're very deeply in your answers on my questions. Thank you very much. I'm satisfied.
Next question from Professor Монастирський Григорій.
Thank you very much. Dear Van Hunuye, I have two questions. My first question, what are the characteristics of regional sustainability performance in China?
Okay. Thank you for your question, Professor. Using the top size model, the sustainability performance of each of the study 31 provinces was assessed, and their ranking was carried out. The territory distribution patterns of the sustainability performance of the provinces group into 4 regions: coastal, eastern, central, and the west, and the Beijing-Tianjin-Hebei urban agglomeration is determined. In general, the level of development of provinces and territory is uneven, shows a football distribution, and the overall grade is relatively low. According to the results, the sustainability development of various regions of China is characterized by the weakening trade from the eastern coastal areas to the western inland pass. That's all my answer. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And my second question, why do the strategies for sustainability differ in China's regions?
Okay. Thank you for your question, Professor. The features of community development are quite different. For example, in the eastern coastal areas, due to China regional differentiated development strategy and the inclination of national policies, a large number of factors have gathered in the eastern coastal areas, making the urban construction and industrial development in these areas significantly better than other areas, and the region has the highest performance and of urban sustainable development in China. Therefore, in policy making, should pay attention to the coordinate development of society and economic, and aim at the innovation and output the core science and technology, give full play to the effects of radiation and promote the development of surrounding areas, strived to achieve the overall planning and overall realization of coordinate and integrated sustainable development. That's all my answers. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next question. Next question from Professor Litvinchuk Irina, please.
Thank you very much, and dear colleagues, and thank you, Van Hunuye. I think it's a great achievement that we can, in such challenging times, still promote scientific discussion. So my first question is about your methods of research. I wonder, why do you use the entropy-based top-size model for your research, for your dissertation?
Okay. About this question, top-size model is the commonly used multi-attribute decision problems model. It is a method to evaluate the relative merits of existing objects, which is also known as the Dayton's method of good and better solutions. The results can reflect the gap between evaluation objects more accurately. The evaluation objects are not divided into time and space, and the sample size is not strictly limited. The conclusion is simple, and the most important thing is that it can make full use of the information of the original data. Entropy weight method is classical objective weight method. It starts from the original data and determines the weights according to the index variability. It can efficiently avoid the interference of human factors, reflect the objectivity and authenticity of the evaluation index, and improve the accuracy of the final evaluation results. Therefore, this study studied the entropy weight most method to calculate the index weight using the top size model to calculate the comprehensive evaluation index and constructive the top size comprehensive evaluation method based on the entropy weight method. That's my answer. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And one more question, please. What are your suggestions about improving the performance of scientific and technological innovation subsystem, which you presented in your dissertation?
Okay, thank you for your question, Professor. Scientific and technological innovation is essential for the sustainability development of China regions. It is the critical factor in determining the status of a city participating in international industrial deviation and the condition of globalization. Talents and science and technology play a significant role in promoting sustainable region development. The suggestion of the scientific and technological innovation subsystem strategic movement should emphasize the following two aspects. The first, the government needed to strengthen scientific and technological publicity and create favorable environments conducive to scientific and technological progress and independent innovation. The second, the government should intensive effort to cultivate and introduce talents and strengthen the guarantee of talents. That's all my answers. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm satisfied with your answers.
I want to be just a minute. I want to be next. I have some questions for you. First, methods do you mainly use for data analysis?
Okay, thank you for your question, Professor. Urban sustainable development involves the subsystem of environment, economic, society, science, and technology. This type of systematic evaluation is usually solved by a comprehensive evaluation method, comparing the advantage and disadvantage of China and foreign comprehensive assessment method. This study finally chose the wet top size model to evaluate the sustainable development level of regional territory communities in China. This approach makes it possible to assess the level of sustainable development of urban territories and the key factors influencing this process quantitative and objectively through an assessment of the significance of fluctuations of each parameter. The entropy method evaluates the weights of individual sector level intersect in the proposed approach. This top set method the promise of sustainable development of particular research object to assess the level of sustainability of regions. A scale is offered which arrange the basis on the measurement results to conclude about the territory's weak, average, good, and high quality levels of sustainable development. That's my answer. That's all. Thank you.
And last one, what are design principles of urban sustainability assessment?
Okay. Thank you for your question, Professor. About this question, established an index system to evaluate the sustainable development of different regions scientifically and effectively. Is the scientific and objectively foundation to ensure the follow-up work. The goal of the evaluation index system constructed in this study is to describe and evaluate the sustainability of each region, which is fundamentally essential to evaluate the ability and the efficiency of community sustainable development. Therefore, the primary task is to seek significant and relevant indicators. At the same time, it should start from the system structure of communities sustainable development and follow the scientificity principles, objectivity, completeness, and sensitivity, reliability, dynamics, and coordination. That's all my answer. Thank you.
I'm satisfied with your answer. No more question.
Okay, thank you.
No.
Thanks. Let me acquaint those present with the conclusion about the scientific novelty, theoretical and practical scientificity of the result of the thesis. Тому переходжу на державну мову. І щодо висновку, коротенько, хотіла би зазначити щодо актуальності проблеми забезпечення сталого розвитку територій є актуальною та важливою для всього світу і кожній країні, зокрема, забезпечення належного рівня добробуту людей в довгостроковій перспективі, на тлі всезаростаючого навантаження на довкілля, глобальних кліматичних змін, поширення руйнівних природних явищ та процесів через пошук адекватних механізмів та моделей прийняття управлінських рішень щодо територіальної організації інфраструктури має головний пріоритетом людства та предметом наукового пошуку, що стало актуальністю вашої дисертаційної роботи. Щодо наукової новизни отриманих результатів одержаних, то вона полягає в поглибленні теоретико-методичного базису, забезпечення підтримку процесу ефективного управління сталим розвитком регіональних територіальних громад Китайській Народній Республіці. Основні положення наукової новизни полягають у наступному. Удосконалення, концептуальне розуміння основних аспектів факторів сталого розвитку територій, що на відміну від існуючих інтегрує економіку суспільства, природне середовище, науково-технічні компоненти, і дає можливість краще розуміти механізм забезпечення та підтримки сталого розвитку територіальних утворень. Методичний підхід до трактування концепції знаннєво-орієнтованої стратегії сталого розвитку міст, який розглядає природне середовище, економіку суспільства, науку і технології як система взаємопов'язаних факторів і передбачає ретельний розгляд і вибір індикаторів для визначення рушійних механізмів та параметрів дій. Індексна система оцінки сталого розвитку міських територій як складових регіонального комплексу, яка на відміну від існуючих підходів дозволяє вимірювати рівень сталого розвитку. І на подальшого розвитку з основних моментів це методичний підхід до визначення системи функціонування розумного міста, який на відміну від існуючих пропонує п'ятивимірне бачення і розглядає дані як важливий компонент та об'єднує інші елементи розвитку міста, економіку суспільства, технології та політику. і пропозиції щодо стратегії сталого розвитку територіальних громад регіонів, які ґрунтуються на реалізації оцінки основних рушіїв сталості, в тому числі науково-технологічній сфері, і також методичний підход до формування науково обґрунтованої та інтелектуальної системи оцінювання та моніторингу сталості міст, які, на відміну від існуючих, дозволяє об'єктивно оцінити рівень сталого розвитку та критичні фактори, що його визначають через кількісну оцінку значущості та коливань кожного ключового параметру. We begin to discuss of the dissertation work by Won Hun-Ye. I invite a review to speak Денько Юрій Іванович, Doctor of Economics, Professor with Director of Scientific and International Work, Sumy National Agrarian University. Just I switch off my microphone, just a minute.
Yeah, let me introduce my review. Everybody can find the review on the website of our university, but today I want only say about the some main points of this review. First of all, I want to say that dissertation research named Management of Sustainable Development of Regional Territorial Communities in People's Republic of China is really relevant and timely. This dissertation research was carried out following the subject of the research work of the Department of Economics and Internship, named after Professor Ivan Mykolaievich Brufovetsky, and this dissertation is part of the topic formation of an effective toolkit for the function of the socio-economic mechanism of internal activity in the agrarian sector of the economy. And this topic has number of registration in Ukrainian Ukrintea. And in this context, the author defines the main principle and priorities that should be taken into account when developing strategy for the sustainable development of regions in the China on promotion the development of internship in the innovation sphere. The structure and content of the dissertation, I can say that this dissertation contains introduction, 3 main sections, conclusion, a list of reference, and an appendix. A brief description of the work main content and the research result are presented in the abstract. The main text of the work is 138 pages, which and dissertation consists 30 tables and 35 figures. The research used the signification number of scientific sources 171, which testified to the validity and reliability of the obtained result. The introduction, I don't discuss the content of all chapter of this dissertation because everybody can find the dissertation of our website. I want to say that 12 scientific works were published on the topic of the dissertation, and the 3 articles were published in specialized scientific journal of Ukraine, and 2 were published in scientific journals. The journals are indexed by Web of Science and Scopus, and I want to say that it's enough for thesis of PhD. This thesis published in the collection of scientific conference, 7 publications, 7 materials of conference, and scientific publications adequately reveal the content of the scientific result obtained by the applicant at the scope of the dissertation. I want to say that this PhD student, Wang Hunye, she was very active in conference when he was in Ukraine, when he started this first year when he studied in Ukraine, and there are conferences in Ukraine, Serbia, Slovenia, and other countries. But evaluation this dissertation work positively, one should point out specific debates issued. We must understand that all dissertation, all thesis consist such points. First of all, when we talk about the figure number 1.6, the author should depict the interrelation between all components: politics, economy, social, technology, data. This would better reflect the content of the proposed five-dimensional version of the smart city function. Second, during the analysis of the context of main theories of sustainable urban development, table 1.1, the author should point out the evolutionary aspects, the relationship of these theories. Third, the indicated levels of influence of various factors in figure 1.8 need to be clarified. In particular, it needs to be clarified while all other factors, except economics 1, have the same influence, and economics 1 have the most significant impact. As the other date in the figure, the result of quantitative calculation, excuse me. Fourth, it is not clear enough from the text of the work of the dissertation where an assessment of the sensitivity of the indicator proposed by the author for assigning the sustainable development was carried out. It's table 2.6. In the text of work, it would be expanded to provide additional means of visualization to emphasize the proposal for the particular region development. Paragraph 3.3, and illustrates the relationship within the general principle of the PRS Territory Sustainable Development Strategy. And next and last, there are minor stylistic and grammatical error in the text of the work, and we understand that English language is not native for Wang Hunye. However, the above remarks do not impact the overall high evaluation Wang Hunye research. According to the result of the detailed examination of this dissertation and scientific publication, one should know that application, scientific method, and abilities to conduct independent research at the high scientific level. The reviewed dissertation is a completed, independently performed scientific work characterized by integrity and certificate theoretical and applied value. Wang Hunye dissertation, Wang Hunye thesis on the topic management of sustainable development of regional territorial communities in People's Republic of China, excuse me, fully corresponds to the specialty 073 management, the requirements of paragraph 6 of the decrees of Cabinet of Ministry of Ukraine of the procedure for awarding the degree of Doctor of Philosophy and cancellation of the decision of the one-time specialization Academic Council of Institution of Higher Education, a scientific institution of the awarding of the degree of Doctor of Philosophy with number 44, and the requirements for the design of the dissertation approved by the author of Ministry of Education number 40. Therefore, the dissertation can be recommended for consideration at a meeting of the one-time specialization Academic Council and its author, Wang Hunye, for awarding the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in the specialty 073 Management. Reviewer, Vice Rector for Research and International Activities of Sumy National Agrarian University, Yuris Dankos. Thank you very much, dear colleagues.
Wang Hunye You are given the opportunity to respond the comments that have been posted in reviews.
Okay. Okay. I sincerely thank the professor for your positive comments on my research work. And thank you very much for your valuable suggestions. I agree with all comments given and will follow the recommendations in my future research work. I'd like to respond to some comments for some of them. Regarding point 2, raised by the professor, although the summary of main theory of urban sustainable development does not show the derivation time. It is summarized according to the historical law and the internal logic of the theory derivation in this study. In response to point 4 put forward by the professor, the establishment of the index system takes into account the sensitivity principle of index system selection, which means that the changes of regional sustainable development can be reflected through the fluctuations of index values. For example, according to statistics in the government work report of 2022, the word science and technology appeared 16 times, and the word innovation appeared 39 times, which shows its influence of the current sustainable development of cities. Coming with the empirical data of this study, this evaluation index selection in this study is more suitable, can effectively and accurately reflect the difference and various indicators in the city, and the index system has intense sensitivity. Finally, I agree with the professor's comments, and I will consider your suggestion in my future research. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Professor Danko, are you satisfied with the answer?
Yes, I'm satisfied.
Thank you.
Continue. I invite to review to speak Sakhan Inna Vitalyevna, Doctor of Economics, Professor of Department of Management named after Professor Lyubov Ivanovna Mikhailova, Sumy National Agrarian University.
Thanks. And the first, I want to say that the full text of my review is in the sets of document to the defense of these dissertations. It was promoted on the website of the university, so I will not tell fully my text, and I will not repeat all information that was taken by Professor Danko about the structure of dissertation, about the numbers of publications, about the taking part in conference, the PhD student Wayne Fournier. I want to tell very shortly about the practical significance of the dissertations. It, of course, is not debatable because, by my opinion, firstly, in the dissertation, the author directly developed proposals for improving the development strategies in China's provinces and regions, which have applied significance. And this generated the recommendation can be used to improve the content of planning documents regarding the development of territories in the relevant organizations and institutions. Due to detailed review of the text of the we reviewers have checked the plagiarism of dissertations, and the number of checking material and the number of taken from another sources materials is very, very low. It's about 3%, if I remember well. So and the other points that we could to check, we have done. So I want to tell about my remarks to these dissertations. The first, what I do like the highlights from the dissertations. The author's proposals regarding the scheme of actions for the development of strategies for the sustainable development of regional territories communities. It was on figure 3.7 on pages 133, 134. It would be appreciated to consider two subtraction 1.2, 1.3 of the dissertations. Also, by formulating proposals for strategies and measures to support sustainable development for some regions of the China in subsection 3.3, it would be appreciated to use the visualization tools, for example, drawings, diagrams, and other tools that are making your text more visual and understandable for reviewers. On figure 2.2, the units of measurement of identifiers are not unclear. By my opinion, it could be more deeply characterized. So another, during the analysis of the existing methodological approaches to the formation of indicator system for the assessment of sustainable development on pages 68, 73, it would be appreciated to demonstrate their shortcoming and advantages, generalizing of your support of your suggestions and so on. The approaches of the analysis and assessments for sustainable development considered in subsection 2.1, which are used in the China Republic, that you are formulated on page 83, 88, would be appropriate to consider during the analysis of the proposed approaches in comparison with the word characteristics. When you illustrate the problems of urban management in China Republic on page 61, 64, the certain statistical data or result of expert assessment could also be provided, by my opinion. So it's my remarks, but it will not be influenced on the full characteristic of your dissertations. And the general analysis of the dissertations and scientific papers given reason to conclude that Wang Hunyeh's dissertation on the topic management of sustainable development of regional territorial communities of People's Republic of China is the completed independently performed scientific work that has scientific and theoretical and applied significance. The dissertation solves a specific scientific task of developing theoretical and methodological principles and formulating scientific and practical recommendations to support the effective management of sustainable development of regional territorial communities in the People's Republic of China. So Wang Hunyeh's dissertation fully corresponds to the specialty 073 management. The dissertations meets all requirements of the Order of the Ministry of Education and Science of Ukraine for preparation of dissertation, the dissertations, and requirements of the procedures for awarding the degree of Doctor of Philosophy and the cancellation of this degree by the decision of the one-time specialized academic council in the institutions of higher education. So the author of this dissertation, Wang Hunyeh, can be recommended, by my opinion, for awarding the degree by the decision of Council of Peer Review Dissertation in the specialty of 073 management. So it was my review. The full text I have already talked. You can find on the website of the university.
Wang Hunyeh, you are given the opportunity to respond to comments that have been posted in the review.
Okay, firstly, I sincerely thank the professor for your positive comments on my research work. And thank you very much for your valuable suggestion. I agree with all comments given and will implement suggestions in my future research. However, I would like to provide some explanation for some of them. Regarding point 1, raised by the professor, the reason why figure 3.7 scheme is included in part 3.2 is to take into account the substantive and structural process aspects of the strategic management purpose, so that the proposed strategy is well justified and in line with the logic of the study. Next, I will respond to point 4 raised by the professor. I have made a detailed study on the characteristics and components of each indicator, providing in brief the conclusion summarizing the problems in the existing index system, such as the index system is complex and the number of indicators is too large, which make it difficult to operate and so on. However, making a detailed conclusion could be more appropriate here. I will consider your suggestion in my future research. Lastly, I agree with the rest of other comments. Thank you very much, Professor. That's all.
Professor Ina Sahani, are you satisfied with the answer?
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Microphone switch on, please.
Do you hear me? Do you hear me just now? Yes. So absolutely satisfied with the answer. Thanks.
Continue, please. I invite an official opponent to speak. Монастырский Георгий Леонардович, Doctor of Economics, Professor of the Department of Management, Public Administration and Personnel, West Ukrainian National University.
Thank you very much, dear colleagues, dear friends. It is a great honor for me to participate in work on the Council. I hope that after the victory of Ukraine in the war, I will definitely come to the Sumy National Agrarian University, which is very dear to my heart. In accordance with the regulatory requirements, as I submitted the opinion of the official opponent. Let me dwell on the main points of the opinion of the official opponent. Dear colleagues, balancing the economic, ecological, and social aspects of the function of territorial communities and ensuring their coordinated and sustainable development is highly relevant today. Its relevance increases due to further climate change and military aggression against Ukraine. It should also be emphasized the improvements of considering the technological aspects of the development of territories, which in the conditions of digitization and growth of scientific knowledge create new opportunities for achieving sustainable development goals. So, if it is time to search for effective mechanism for managing the communities to ensure their sustainability by forming the appropriate conceptual and theoretical methodical foundations. One humorous dissertation is devoted to these issues. This determines its higher relevance and timelines. The scientific provisions, conclusions, and recommendations obtained from the research results are scientifically substantiated and relatable. The dissertation is characterized by a precise adherence to the research's structural and logical scheme. The scientific results and provisions issued for the protection of scientific novelty corresponds to that goal and the specific task on the study. The doctoral student used enough information, sources from open databases, regulatory and legal literature, and statistical and analytical materials. The research results and the author's recommendations have been approved during the work of international conferences and published in scientific publications, including publication indexed by Scopus and Web of Science. The above is evidence of the scientific level of validity and relatability of the results of scientific research, conclusions, and proposals. The scientific value of Wang Hunyue's dissertation consists in obtaining new solutions to a scientific problem, finding and substantiating new theoretical and methodological foundation, and developing practical proposals for managing the sustainable development of regional territorial communities in the PSC. The practical value of the obtained results lies in developing recommendations for strategies for the sustainable development of the territorial communities in the People's Republic of China, regions based on actual data and estimates. The analysis of dissertation work and scientific publications of Wang Hunyue's gives reasons to state that there are no facts of breach of academic integrity by the PhD student. The dissertation contains references to source of information for each case using ideas, developments, statements, and information. The work completes with the legislation of copyright and related right and reflects the author's desire to provide reliable information about the result of his scientific activities, used research methods, and source of communication. However, in my opinion, it is appropriate to note that the specific debatable points on the work. 1. Investigating the role of knowledge, science, and technology as components of a broader vision of the content of sustainable development of territorial entities, paragraph 1.1 and 1.2, it would be appropriate for the author to consider this in the context of two sheets, strong and weak sustainability, highlighting disadvantages and advantages of each of them, and so therefore of the author's proposals. 2. In the dissertation, detailed analytics of existing concepts of sustainable urban development is made, paragraph 1.1, but the focus in the smart city and the knowledge city. These positions of the other needs addition expansions. 3. Subjection 2.1 present and analysis the existing methods of assessing the sustainable development of the regions of the PSC. In the dissertation work, it would be appropriate to show the relevant results of the assessments and compare them with the results obtained from calculations using the others proposed method. 4. The correspondence of the components of the 4 aspects vision of sustainable development in figure 2.7 and figure 1.7 needs additional explanation. Why, for example, is politics attributed to the environmental component? 5. Why only sulfur dioxide emissions single out among the sustainability indication of the ecological component? Wouldn't in the more appropriate to consider greenhouse gas emissions considering the threats of climate change? Next, considering the green of urbanization in the PSC, the other starts from the specifics of the functioning of urbanized territories during the development of the evolution system and a scheme for substantiating strategies for the sustainable development of regional territorial communities. However, the regions of the People's Republic of China also include rural areas. Can the developed proposals be used for rural areas as well? During the research as well as the next of the work, attention should be paid to his. But all the remarks I have listed are only recommendatory and not affect the overall positive assessment of the dissertation work. There are grounds to recognize one Cunha dissertation work as a completed quality scientific work in which the authors approach to the improvement and further development of the theoretical, methodological, and applied foundation of managing the sustainable development of regional territorial communities in the PSC is explained and substantiated. The scientific results in the dissertation correspond to the specialty management for which the work is submitted for defense. The scientific significance of the result is understood and sufficient to recognize the completions of the research by all quality things. One Cunha's dissertation on the topic management of sustainable development of regional territorial communities in People's Republic of China for obtaining the scientific degree of Doctor of Philosophy in the specialty management full meets the requirements of paragraph 6 of decree of the Cabinet of Ministries of Ukraine and other documents, the award of scientific degree of Doctor of Philosophy in the specialty 073 management. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Van Hunye, you are given the opportunity to respond to the comments that have been posted in the reviews review.
Okay. Firstly, I sincerely thank the professor for your positive comments on my research work. I agree with all points mentioned and will use them as a guide to my future research. Now, I would like to provide some comments for some of them. Regarding point 2 raised by the professor, I would like to point out to explain the significant connotation of sustainable urban development proposed below. This study mainly introduced the concept of smart city and knowledge city in detail. Both smart city and knowledge city emphasize the investment in scientific and technological research and development, and are committed to enhancing the technological innovation capability of cities. The three-dimension system is the classical framework of sustainable development theory. The scientific connotation of urban sustainable development proposed in this study is the innovation of the original classical framework. Technological innovation plays an increasing important role in urban economic construction, social progress, resource, and the environmental. In this regard, the four-dimensional framework can help us understand the practice the theory of sustainable urban development more clearly. In response to point 5 put forward by the professor, I would like to make just like the following response. Ecological environmental is the space for the survival and the development of all kinds of organisms and the carrier of resource. The ecological environmental subsystem is mainly composed of water, land, and air. The reason why the total sulfur dioxide emission are selected as indicators for detecting urban air quality is mainly due to the scientific and availability of the indicators. Other measures of air quality are either not easy to count or cannot obtain all the data. Meanwhile, it is more harmful to human health than other indicators affecting urban air quality. In what I agree with the rest of comments. Thank you very much for your valuable suggestion. Thank you, Professor.
Okay. Grigory Monastirski, Professor, are you satisfied with the answer?
Thank you very much. I am satisfied.
Thank you. We continue. Litvinchuk Irina Leonidovna, Doctor of Economics, Professor, Head of the Education and Scientific Center of Intellectual Property Innovation and Project Management, Policia National University. I invite an official opponent to speak, please.
Thank you very much. I'm very grateful to have been invited with a special mission today. So let me start with my opinion as an official opponent for a dissertation on the topic management of sustainable development of regional territorial communities in People's Republic of China. I will not give the full complete text of the my review because you have it and you can read it on the site of university. So I will give you the brief characteristics and be more detailed in the part of discussion about the topic. So I would like to admit that the relevance of the research topic and its connection with the research direction is obvious. We all know that one of the main defining principles of ensuring the sustainable development of society today is implementation of appropriate local initiatives. And this effect determines the crucial role of sustainable transformation on the level of regions. That is why it is absolutely understandable that the topic is relevant for reality. The goal of the dissertation is understandable. It is aimed at deepening the theoretical and methodological foundations and formulating practical recommendations to support the effective management of sustainable development in communities. The author used a set of modern scientific research methods and conducted research using a significant base of scientific sources. So the degree of validity and reliability of scientific statements, conclusions, and recommendation formulated in the dissertation is satisfactory as well. The corrections of setting the goal, tasks, and choosing research methods testify to the validity and reliability of the scientific statements. The logic of manuscript presents the idea of the dissertation, and dissertation has a complete structure and fully covers the content of the problem. The main points which presented the author's conclusions are also logical, correspond to the research scope, and are well-founded. The scientific novelty of the obtained results reflects the personal contribution of the doctoral students to the management science, and among the most important scientific results that the author obtained, we would like to highlight an improved index system for accessing the efficiently of sustainable development of urban areas, for instance, and an improved methodical approach for the interpretation of the concept of knowledge-oriented strategy for sustainable development of cities. The scientific provisions intended during the study are the basis for further scientific research and improvement of management practices for the sustainable development of territorial communities. And the author's publication absolutely reflect the scientific provisions, results, and conclusions. The number of publications is also sufficient to cover the research results. There are no signs of violating the requirements of academic integrity, so all the formal requirements for the dissertation are complete. I would like to return to the main part of the official review. I would like to say that I am positively evaluating this dissertation, but anyway, it is necessary to note some specific points of discussion and express some comments regarding the dissertation, which can be the basis for the scientific discussion. First of all, I would like to pay your attention that the author in her work does not clearly highlight the subordination of the concept of territorial community and regional territorial community. And sometimes because of that, author make equal and mixes sometimes the mechanisms of urban and regional development and the tools of urban management and regional management. At the same time, it is not enough attention is paid to the specific of managing the development of regions with a significant share of rural population, because not all region formation in China include just urbanized territories. The second, my position and comment, while rightly defining that the development of the community is determined by influence of the state, the market, and the population, in analytical and recommendation section, the author does not pay enough attention to the role of the community population as a subject of management. It is also important to admit that the author's recommendations are based on analytical calculations, which are mainly limited to the initial statistical data for 2019. As a result, some mechanisms for ensuring the sustainability of development in the region of China in the conditions of global crisis and redistribution in the world markets of goods and services practically are overlooked. I meant pandemic time and nowadays economic problems which we have because of some decisions of international organizations which are influence world market. The next position, when setting out the proposal regarding to the index system for assessing the sustainable development of territorial communities, the author should comment on the indicators proposed in more detail. It would be desirable to explain the proposed index system, for instance. The next point, from the text of the dissertation, the way to determine the region's sustainability level is not clear enough. Was the value calculated as the sum of the community's values or in another way? Also, we would like to finish with the last note. This comment is about that when setting out the scheme for the sustainable development strategy elaboration, the author should describe its stage in more detail and supplement the scheme with an element of identifying clear steps, decisions, or actions. That is an indication of concrete actions following the assessment results. For instance, poor, moderate, good, excellent, sustainable development of the community. That's mainly all. I would like to emphasize again that all these considerations are the basis for discussion during the defense and testify to the complexity of the problem. It is not change the overall positive assessment of the research conducted by the doctoral students. General conclusions. This dissertation is a completed independently performed scientific work in which new scientifically based results were obtained to solve an essential scientific tasks. The author fully disclosed the chosen research topic and achieved the research goal. The conclusions, provisions, and formulated recommendations are characterized by scientific novelty and have practical value. Taking into account the above, the dissertation on the topic management of sustainable development of regional territorial communities in People's Republic of China, submitted for obtaining the scientific degree of Doctor of Philosophy, meet the requirements of the decree of the Cabinet of Ministers of Ukraine and all the requirements for the design of the dissertation approved by order of the Ministry of Education and Science of Ukraine. And the author deserves to be awarded the scientific degree of Doctor of Philosophy in the field Management and Administration in the specialty Management. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Van Hunie, you are given the opportunity to respond to comments that have been posted in the review.
Okay. First of all, I sincerely thank the professor for positive recognition of my research work. I agree with all points mentioned and will use them as a guide to my future research. I would like to provide some comments on some of them. Regarding point 1 raised by the professor, this is a very good question. Although I explained the concept and subordination of regional territory communities and urbans, I believe that regional territory communities are a regional complex composed of 1 or 2 central cities as a coin and several cities of different scale, types, and nature within a particular special scope. With the division of cooperation, complementary functions, and interconnection. Meanwhile, urban areas are the main areas in China. Over the past 30 years of reform and opening up, China urbanization process has been accelerating. The urbanization rate has increased an average and annual rate of 1% from 17.9% in 1968 to 65.22% in 2022. And the number of cities has also increased from 193 to 684 at the end of last year. That's why I focus on urban areas as the main elements of regional complex, the first and the most. However, studying the sustainable development of rural areas could be areas for my future research. Thank you very much for your valuable suggestion. In response to point 4 raised by the professor, the establishment of the index system in this study is developed into 3 steps. Table 2.1 as the second step, screen the high frequency indicators of 4 dimensions from the perspective of quantitative analysis. This process is to ensure that the established index system, table 2.6, is a set of scientific and effective index system built on the theoretical basis of scientific innovation and obtained through objective and quantitative coding. In conclusion, I totally agree with the rest of the personal comments. Thank you very much again, dear professor. Thank you.
Okay. Professor Irina Litvinchuk, are you satisfied with the answer?
Yes, I'm satisfied.
Dear colleagues, according to the rules of the work of Specialized Academic Council, we proceed to the discussion of the thesis of Van Hunie. I am surprised that all present members, together with scientific supervisor Inna Kablyanska of Academic Council, have the right to take part in the dissertation. Therefore, I ask those who want to speak about this work, who want to be first. Yes, please.
Dear colleague, first of all, I want to say thank you for Van Hunie that she choose our university for get the level of PhD. I think that it's a really good experience for you, this 4 years studying in our university. And yesterday I talked with vice rector of Henan University, and we talk about this defense. And today I can say that it's a really good result. The topic of your dissertation, of your thesis, is really relevant for today and for China and for Ukraine. If you know, the reform of decentralization is in our country today, and this reform was stopped because the war in our country, but we understand that after war we will, after our victory, we will development our territory, and I hope that we will use this experience from your dissertation to make our territory, our community better. I want to say that this dissertation was writing with that you use very good methodological mechanism for writing this dissertation, and I think that it was good experience and for your tutor too, because when we talk about the scientists from different countries, from China, from Ukraine, from other countries, the main results for us to find something interesting and something useful for next work, for next articles, or for next research. This dissertation consists some difficult and critical moments. I find this moment in your work and write in my review, and I think that it's enough for today, and I will vote yes. I will vote yes, and I really think that that level of PhD will be good for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Who wants to be next, please?
I can be, for example. Can I start?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Okay, thanks the colleague. So I would like to tell that I remember good all the scientific steps of Wang Hunye. When he started to study and write the dissertations, I was the head of PhD department at the university. So I remember her positive mood, and I remember how she wanted to write a dissertation, and she was so upset when she stopped for some moments, for some positive moments, of course, her studying. And now I am so pleased that he defends her dissertations on the period of studying. She is studying now on the 4th year, and she can be the explain for all another students on her course, of her possibility of getting to the successful finish, and the positive moments of her dissertations. I want, of course, to pay attention. So the first here, actuality. They are talking about the commodity sustainable development is going about 30 years. And Wang Hunye could, in her dissertation, to structurize the problems, describe the positive, describe the ways of improvement, the improvement problems, give some suggestion for state government of state regional government and government organizations of China Republic for solving these problems. And of course, the goals of dissertations are very important for scientific description, their problem suggestions. So I will also do positive summarize the methodological points of dissertations, methodological approaches of dissertations, and fully of the fully my recognize is the dissertations of Wang Hunye is confirmed by the implementation of study within the framework of scientific work of Department of Economics and Entrepreneurship of Sumy National Agrarian University. These PhD students, Wang Hunye, the dissertation of Wang Hunye has fully recommended and fully corresponds with the specialty of 073 management. The dissertations I have already talked meets all requirements of the Cabinet of Ministers of Ukraine and the Ministry of Science of Education of Science of Ukraine. So I will support you and your dissertations and will vote positive in the process of will vote positive for awarding you the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Management. Natalia Valerievna, I am fully.
Dear colleagues, who wants to be next? Yes, please, Professor Grigory Monastyrsky.
Thank you very much, Natalia. Dear colleagues, for more than 20 years, I have been researching the problems of managing regions and local communities. This problem is extremely complex and important. Its importance is growing in the conditions of modern geopolitical threats. The experience of the People's Republic of China is interesting in the context of managing the sustainable development of regional territorial communities. Today, we saw and heard this from the research and speech of the recipient of the scientific degree of Doctor of Philosophy. She applied a complex system approach to achieving that goal. I will definitely vote in favor of awarding her the scientific degree of Doctor of Philosophy in specialty of management. Thank you for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Who wants to be next, please?
Dear colleagues, let me
Switch on your microphone, please.
I would like to congratulate the candidate with the impressive defense. I think that it is very hard always to defend the dissertation, even in your own country, but abroad it's even twice harder. So you have to be not only a good scientist, but also very strong person. And I would like also to thank you for choosing the very interesting and important topic of the dissertation. We all know that China actually is one of the world's largest and more influential countries now. And of course, that is why all the practices of effective management in China are valuable, because we can use them, we can reply them somewhere else in the world, even in Ukraine, because Ivan Yuri Ivanovich mentioned it already today, the decentralization reform in Ukraine. So your topic is obviously very relevant from the practical point of view. And I think in addition to its academic value, this research is also highly relevant for some policymakers, for practitioners, and other stakeholders who are working in the field of sustainable development. And I think that this dissertation offers a valuable contribution to the ongoing conversation on sustainable development. For all those reasons, I will support this dissertation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I invite safe positive comments, scientific supervisor, Professor Kablянская Inna, please.
Dear colleagues, nice to meet you. So some words about this girl, some words about this work. I should say that I was really positively surprised and inspired by this girl, Wang Hunyue, because our work was not easy, because she should have some leave for 1 year, and now she is continuing her studies. And really, she is the second. Can I say this? She is the second student from the whole course that has her defense, and it's really, I think it's cool. And I should say that when Wang Hunyue said me in 2019, she said, yes, I will have a leave, but I want to have a defense with my classmates. And I thought, and I told her, let's take a leave, and then we will discuss what we will have. And now I see that she's a good person, she's a good scientist, she's able to conduct her own research, well structured, well driven by good and right methods. She is able to define research area, she is able to define research problem and task, and what is more important, that she is able to get this goal, scientific goal, research goal, and to use right methods, and to get important, I think, and I think it's important result. And as for for me, the most important thing in this work that she shed the light to the question of inclusion of scientific and technological innovation as a fourth part of sustainability vision. We are moving to digital economy. We are moving. We're not just moving, we are jumping to digital society, and we couldn't left it out. We should say about this. We should say how technologies can get us the ability to get sustainability and sustainable solutions. How digital society, digital economy influence our sustainable development and our sustainability vision, paths, and results that we will have. So this is a good work, I think. This is a good research. This is a good girl. And dear colleagues, yes, dear colleagues, this is a good council. This is a good company. I think that we meet together today in Friday. It's also nice. And I should say that no alarms, even in Sumy, during this time. And I think that this is also a good sign. So thank you all. Thank you, Van Hunuye, and good luck in your future research. And I hope we will have cooperation in the future. I think that this cooperation will only expand and give us more important and interesting results. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, Professor Ina. And I won't say positive comments. I will be very fast and shortly. Main advantages of this work, the concept of sustainable development is popularized and practiced around the world and the different regions on the basis of a number of organizational measures. China is an active participant of the global transition to sustainable development, and therefore the sustainable development of territorial communities are regulatory in the growth of great economic, human, electoral, intellectual, ecological, and social sphere. The sphere of research will always be interesting and relevant to support the process of effective sustainable management, the development of regional territorial communities of the people public of China, and the solution of urbanization process carried out without proper justification or spatial and structural solution. In general, all the tasks that the work have been completed, the methodological tool list represented by modern methods, and the scientific novelty has been tested, and the practical certificate is confirmed. I will support both graduate student and this dissertation, and I vote yes. According of our rules, does anyone also want to speak, or our member of councils speak before? Yeah, if there are no objection, I suggest ending the discussion. Нами попередньо було розроблено проєкт рішення спеціалізованої вченої ради. Дозвольте його зачитати. Спеціалізована вчена рада Сумського національного аграрного університету, Міністерства освіти і науки України, міста Суми прийняла рішення про присудження ступеня доктора філософії в галузі знань 07 управління та адміністрування на підставі прилюдного захисту дисертації управління сталим розвитком регіональних територіальних громад в Китайській Народній Республіці, англійська Management of Sustainable Development of Regional Territorial Communities in People Republic of China, за спеціальністю 073 менеджмент. Ван Хуньє, 1991 року народження, громадянка Китайської Народної Республіки, освіта вища, закінчила в 2017 році Анянський педагогічний університет Китайська Народна Республіка за спеціальністю образотворче мистецтво, художньо-екологічний дизайн. У 2018 році вступила до аспірантури Сумського національного аграрного університету, Міністерства освіти і науки України, місто Суми, за спеціальністю 073 менеджмент. За час навчання перебувала в академічній відпустці в зв'язку з народженням дитини, з 1.12 по 19 по 1.12.2020. Відповідно, наразі навчається на 4-му курсі аспірантури. Дисертацію виконана в Сумському національному аграрному університеті Міністерства освіти і науки України. Науковий керівник Габлянської Інна Ігорівна, кандидат економічних наук, доцент кафедри економіки та підприємництва імені професора Брюховецького Сумського національного аграрного університету. Здобувач має 12 наукових публікацій за темою дисертації, з них 3 статті у наукових фахових виданнях України, 2 статті у виданнях, які включені до міжнародних науково-метричних баз, даний Scopus або Web of Science, 7 інші публікації. Переходимо до процедури відкритого голосування. Прошу членів спеціалізованої вченої ради проголосувати і озвучити рішення щодо присудження Ван Хуньє ступеня доктора філософії за спеціальністю 073 менеджмент. Професор Данько Юрій Іванович.
Я підтримую дисертацію і голосую за.
Професор Сахань Інна Віталіївна.
Я підтримаю дисертацію дисертанткою, голосую за.
Професор Монастирський Григорій Леонардович.
Однозначно голосую за.
Літвінчук Ірина Леонідівна, будь ласка.
Підтримую, голосую за.
І слово за мною, я теж голосую за. Проти немає, 5 голосів за. На підставі результатів відкритого голосування спеціалізована вчена рада присуджує Ван Хуньє ступінь доктора філософії з галузі знань 07 управління та адміністрування за спеціальністю 073 менеджмент. Чи є зауваження щодо рішення спеціалізованої вченої ради? Немає. Дозвольте привітати Ван Хуньє з успішним захистом дисертації. І слово надається аспіранці Ван Хуньє. Ван Хуньє, we congratulate you, and you can say for us the last word.
Okay. Yeah, really exciting time. I'm very happy to be able to successfully pass the defense and obtain degree, doctoral degree. Firstly, I would like to thank my dear professor again for providing me self help and guidance in my research work, which enabled me to obtain the diploma smoothly. Secondly, I sincerely thank the defense committee members for all your hard work and participating in my dissertation defense in such a difficult situation. Finally, I would like to thank my family and friends for their support and standing and help. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. На цьому засідання спеціалізованої вченої ради вважається закритим. Дякую всім за роботу, колеги.
Дякую вам.
Дякую.
Дякуємо, колеги.